Now let's look at different ways that we can assemble pleated prisms. We will take these two pleated cubes and bring them together in different ways using a simple square or perhaps a rectangle of paper, depending on our particular needs. We will begin by using the pocket in the easiest way, and that is simply to insert the small square into the cube. You will notice that the square is slightly smaller than the face of the cube. The larger the square, the more securely it will fit inside the pocket. If you get it too large, it will be difficult, so it needs to be just a little bit smaller than the thing. I've made it quite a bit smaller, so it's easy for me to manipulate in this video. It will only go halfway down inside the pocket. This is the easiest way to do assemblies, and you can do some rather interesting assemblies with using just this method. It also forms a nice hinge. The problem with this particular hinge is it comes apart so easily. Another way we can use small squares to form attachments between pleated prisms is to insert the square around the corner. To do this, we take our square, bend it in half, open it to a 90-degree angle, and work it carefully into one of the corners. This can be quite tricky because the corners can be quite tight. You might want to actually work it into one square, wiggle a little bit to open up that square, and then go to the next square and do the same process. Then finally bring the two of them together, carefully locating the corner. This forms a very stable connection, and you can build quite high. You probably want to have at least two of these to form your connections. These connections can be quite strong. The disadvantage of the corner connection is that it cannot be used as a flexible hinge, and it frequently is desirable to have flexible hinges. If we simply used a single square, it will work quite well as a flexible hinge, but it comes out quite easily. There is a solution that makes an extremely stable connection using these squares, and that is to open up the cubes and make a change on the inside pleat. Let's take a look at this process. This time I'm working with a slightly larger rectangle. I'm going to use this rectangle to bring together these cubes with a hinge. I'm first going to bend the hinge in the center, folding it in both directions so that the hinge will work freely. I then insert my rectangle into one of the pleats on the side, working on the bottom or the outside of the cube. Notice where I've located it. I could locate it in any of the positions that I want to along the cube face, 1, 2, 3, or 4. I then take the inside pleat and I do an additional fold over to lock that piece of paper in place. Now the paper is locked in place and is securely locked. When I refold the cube, that paper will remain locked in place. So I'm going to refold the cube, bringing up my two outside wings, bringing up the fold into position, doing the same thing on the other side, bringing my small wings inside my large wings, like this, completing the nesting of the pleats on both sides. Inserting my wings inside the pocket, working from the center, working it down and in carefully, completing the process on the other side. And we now have a hinge attached that is extremely securely attached. You would have a great difficulty in pulling that hinge out and probably would tear the paper before it would come out. To attach this cube to another cube, we would again start with an open cube. Insert our piece of paper inside the cube. Make sure that you located it along one of the faces. You have 4 choices, 1, 2, 3, 4. For this particular instance, it doesn't matter which one you choose. Just make sure that it's located between the lines. Fold over your inside flap. The assembly is a little bit trickier now because you have a cube attached to it. Make sure that the inside folded over pleat stays folded over. And reassemble your cube. Reshape your cubes, and we now have an extremely secure hinge. With a little ingenuity, you can attach as many cubes as you would like.